Tonight on KGW News, how Oregon's famous airplane home quickly became a crime scene.
It's like a gut punch. It's devastating.
And in East County, a man wielding a metal pipe smashes windows at several homes.
I was in my bedroom and all of a sudden it was just like glass everywhere.
Then the flight attendant taking a Portland coffee company to court after she says she was left with serious burns. And later,
I think there's big changes ahead for the Blazers organization.
the NBA gives the go-ahead for the Blazers sale, but see why it won't happen all at once. But first to breaking news and a tentative deal with faculty at Portland Community College, one that effectively ends a 3-week strike. Thanks for being with us on this Monday night. I'm David Molko. This evening, the college telling KGW the deal includes a 2% cost of living adjustment this year and a 3% increase next year, along with a one-time lump payment. The union calling it a very strong contract and saying it is thrilled to get back to its students. Members, though, still need to ratify the agreement. Support staff, meanwhile, reached a separate agreement last week. PCC's president saying they're also pleased to move forward, but added, quote, "Our hearts are heavy because we know that this agreement is so far outside of our budget, it will result in significant additional cuts in the future," end quote. Now, most spring quarter classes are set to start next Monday. It's more breaking news now, where in the last few minutes we have learned the suspect accused of shooting and killing a clerk at a Northeast Portland Plaid Pantry Friday night is now in police custody. Catherine Cook spoke with detectives before this latest development. Catherine?
And David, police tell us that he turned himself into authorities tonight. They wouldn't identify him, but earlier this evening they said what he's accused of doing amounts to senseless violence and horrible tragedy. Look closely at this security video. Police believe late Friday night this man shot and killed a clerk at this Plaid Pantry on Northeast 60th and Columbia.
It's a tragedy. It's senseless violence.
Detectives say the victim in this case is 57-year-old Ernesto Castellanos.
Ernesto just was an innocent, hardworking guy. He was gunned down and killed in his place of business.
DA Nathan Vasquez says Plaid Pantry has been cooperative and helpful in this case. The convenience store chain is offering a $5,000 reward for information leading to the identification and arrest of the suspect.
Someone knows this man. Do the right thing. Come forward. But let me be clear. If there's someone out there hiding him, if there's someone that's going to help him, we're going to prosecute you as well.
And again, police say late tonight the suspect turned himself in. He is under arrest. They're thanking the community for their help and say they'll release more information tomorrow. David.
Yeah, Catherine Cook on the breaking news. Thanks, Catherine. Meanwhile, tonight we're learning more about a big party at the iconic airplane home in Hillsborough, one that ended with 2 people shot and 2 teenagers detained. Apparently, things got so out of hand Saturday night that neighbors had already called 911 for help before the gunfire even erupted. Washington County Sheriff's deputies say they heard the shots as they arrived around 11:30. Authorities recovered a pistol and detained a 16 and 17-year-old boy. 2 other people were taken to the hospital but are expected to survive. The owner of the airplane home telling us he was out of the country. He did not know the party was going on, and firearms are not allowed on his property.
I'm considering serious changes. I don't want to close the project off. Youth needs to have a place to recreate, but it needs to be in a civilized manner.
The Washington County Sheriff's Office is now asking witnesses to come forward. New at 11, police say a man seen crawling around in a driveway with a metal pole in tow went on a window smashing spree and even forced his way inside someone's home. He is now behind bars, and tonight we're hearing from one of the East County homeowners dealing with the aftermath. Here's Alma McCarty.
All of a sudden it was just like glass everywhere.
Commotion in an East Portland neighborhood.
My husband thought it was a rocket. I said, no, that's not a rocket, that's glass.
2 of Shannon Edgel's windows shattered by a stranger dragging around this large metal pole. After hitting her home, he moved next door.
My neighbors here got hit, my neighbors across the street, kitty corner, my neighbor next door. So we all got some kind of damage.
Damage to fences, doors, windows, and vehicles on Southeast Equestrian Drive and Sawtooth Street. Surveillance video from one home shows the suspect crawling out from underneath a camper and appearing to lay low for a few moments as neighbors shout to one another in the background. Multiple people, officers say, called 911. Neighbors say lots of police, canines, and drones filled this normally quiet neighborhood as PPP worked to track down the suspect.
There was an airplane, went on about 4 or 5 hours.
At one point, investigators say the suspect even forced his way into a home before he was confronted and forced out by the resident. Soon after, police arrested 40-year-old Christopher Kartzmark on burglary, theft, and criminal mischief charges. On Monday, he went before a judge.
The defendant caused a terror throughout a neighborhood, breaking into someone's home while armed with a homemade spear.
Frankly, you could have easily been shot in these individuals' homes in an exercise of self-defense.
Edgell and another neighbor brought their concerns to the court.
My girlfriend and my 10-year-old daughter were both present in the home at the time, and the incident has left us feeling unsafe and shaken.
And now that he knows where we live, and I still have open windows that I haven't been able to get new glass in, I would prefer he stay in custody.
The judge set bail at $50,000. The suspect's next court date is set for next week. In Southeast Portland, Alma McCarty, KGW News.
Developing tonight, another case of metal theft. This time, a thief who allegedly stole heavy brass plates from TriMet platforms. The sheriff's office in Multnomah County sharing this video from the Overlook Park Station. You can see the man prying up what appears to be a plate in the ground and having a little bit of trouble putting it into his wagon there. 2 days later, March 19th, investigators say he did it again at the Rosa Park Station, getting away with one. While in a wheelchair last week, transit police caught up with and arrested 48-year-old Benjamin Honnell. They see he had one of the plates in his car and had given another to a man to pay off a debt. Turns out each one is worth about $1,000.
Right now, there is a hot market for metal, especially in the Portland Metroplex and across the nation. A lot of these folks with ill intent are coming forward and using tools to essentially burglarize these platforms, to steal from them and get compensation from that labor.
Well, this is just the latest case of metal theft. Last week, Portland police arrested 5 people tied to a copper theft ring. And earlier this month, ODOT said someone stripped wire from several light poles along I-84. All right, let's take you outside and give you a live look at the Rose City on this final Monday of March with, turns out, another dry day in your forecast. Meteorologist Joe Ranieri's here. Joe, sounds like big changes are coming as soon as we hit April, though.
Absolutely right. We'll start to see some subtle changes tomorrow. A chance to see some spotty showers here and there. This is that upper level low that's coming in from Northern California and Southern Oregon, bringing in increasing clouds right now. And most of the showers have been staying near Medford and into Southern Oregon. That'll be the case the rest of your Monday night and early Tuesday. But out in the Pacific is the front that's going to be moving on shore late tomorrow night and into Wednesday, bringing in a good size early spring storm with wind and rain along the Oregon coast, a little bit in the valley, but the big takeaway is going to be the mountain snow throughout the Oregon Cascade. So late tomorrow afternoon, we'll start to see a winter storm watch take effect, and going into Wednesday is when things will really start to pick up. Look at that. Nothing but greens and yellows and oranges to start off your Wednesday morning. And the winds could be anywhere from 40 to 45 miles an hour along the Oregon coast. But pay attention to this. If you're traveling over the mountain passes late tomorrow and into Thursday, you will be seeing heavy mountain snow, not measured in inches, measured in feet from late tomorrow night and in toward the end of the week. I'll talk more about that in just a few minutes.
Wow. Okay, we'll see you in a few, Joe. To get you caught up on tonight's other headlines now, a man is dead after what appears to be a shootout with Marion County Sheriff's deputies. This began, authorities say, after someone called 911 last night to report a disturbance at a home in Almsville. When deputies went inside, they say Brian Baker had a gun and started shooting at them, so they fired back. They got out of the house and say Baker barricaded himself inside. Then around 2 a.m., a SWAT team went in and found Baker dead. Authorities believe he died by suicide. No deputies were hurt. Salem police are now leading this investigation. Tonight, Vancouver police are asking for help identifying this man wanted in connection, they say, with child luring and sexual assault charges, though so far officers are not providing details on when or where the alleged incidents occurred. Anyone with information here should contact Vancouver police. And pay is slowly trickling in for TSA workers who have gone 45 days without a paycheck as the longest partial government shutdown in U.S. history drags on. President Trump signed an executive order on Friday to pay TSA officers after call-outs and resignations surged, leading to hours-long waits at busy airports. And while PDX did not see any major slowdowns, travelers today telling us they are still prepared.
We showed up about 2.5 hours early just to make sure we get through.
The people that shouldn't be paid, in my opinion, are the Congress people right now that aren't doing their job.
And Congress, of course, remains gridlocked over the question of DHS funding. House Democrats say they won't give Republicans the votes needed unless Republicans commit to reforming Homeland Security. Republicans, though, say that is a non-starter.